Evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone had a fantastic Sunday. I'm your host for South Carolina weather, Jesse Peterson, and let's talk about the weather for your Sunday evening. Looking at the radar right now, we do have some shower activity just to the south and east of Beaufort, South Carolina, as well just to the west of Beaufort. Also, just to the north of Savannah, as well. We do have some shower activity going on over there as well. If you move over to the MRMS, you can see that we do have that shower and thunderstorm activity going through the southeast right now, as well as over here in the west. We do have some scattered shower activity going on in the west right now. Also up here in Michigan, we do have some shower and downpour activity, as well as over here inside of Canada, as well as some shower and thunderstorm activity possible with our possible tropical storm. We're going to talk about that in at the end. But you're talking about cloud cover. Cloud cover right now, low clouds right now taking over the state. We do have some cloud cover again that's not really too low. That goes all the way through the low country of South Carolina and PD region of South Carolina. That pretty much remains for now. Upstate is doing good right now, pretty clear up there. And then as you go into cloud cover total percentage through the next 18 or so hours, cloud cover will continue low country PD region of South Carolina even as you go through tomorrow. Even as you go into like the 18Z as well, which is not the 18Z but the 18 hours out from now. You can start to see cloud cover still remain for low country and PD region of South Carolina. Here's our current temperature: 66 in Columbia, 68 in Charleston, 68 inside of Beaufort, 70 in Georgetown, 70 in Myrtle Beach, 66 inside Florence, 68 in Sumter, 66 in Columbia, 64 in Rock Hill, 62 inside of Greenville, 64 inside of Anderson, 66 inside of Greenwood, and 70 inside of Augusta. Here's our low temperatures for tonight. Pretty diverse, but 62 inside Columbia, 68 in Charleston, 68 Hilton Head Island, 65 Georgetown and Myrtle Beach, 61 inside Florence and Sumter, 60 in Dillon, Camden, 55 in Rock Hills, 55 inside Spartanburg, 56 inside of Greenville, 57 inside of Anderson and Greenwood, as well as 58 inside of Newberry as well. Here's our forecast precipitation for the next 24 or so hours. You can see that mainly low country in the PD region of South Carolina is mainly where the shower and thunderstorm activity is possible. Around 100th of an inch to a tenth of an inch possible in Walterboro, Hilton Head Island, Moncks Corner, Myrtle Beach, and then maybe even a tenth of an inch to a quarter of an inch possible inside Charleston and Georgetown as well. Maybe even an isolated half an inch to a quarter of an inch possible throughout that region as well. Here's our SPC outlook for tonight. Tonight you can see the day one right here. Day one does have a TSTM still out for the coast line right now. And even as you go into tomorrow, no chance of thunderstorms for tomorrow for a Monday. And the only chance that has a chance for thunderstorms on Tuesday is like the very southern tip of South Carolina near like Hilton Head Island. Here's our excessive rainfall outlook right here. See day one, we do have a marginal risk of excessive rainfall for tonight through the low country of South Carolina. And then as you go into tomorrow, nothing for tomorrow, nothing for Tuesday, nothing for Wednesday, and nothing for Thursday either in terms of excessive rainfall. And we'll talk about the tropics in just a second. Let's talk about the models right now. The ARRR right here. Let's go to the 18Z. And then as you go to around 9 o'clock p.m., you can see that shower and downpour activity continues even as you go to around 2, 3 o'clock, even in around like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning as well. And then even as you get into like 12 p.m., 1 p.m. as well, going to Monday, not really much going on through there. As you go into Tuesday as well, not much in terms of Tuesday either. So the only chance that you really have in terms of showers will really continue as you go to around like 9, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, but that's pretty much it in terms of that. And then talking about the tropics here, the tropics is right here. You can see that we do have 3 areas that we're now watching for. Here's potential tropical cyclone 6. Right now, 50 mile per hour storm right now, and it is moving, seems to be northwest at 5 miles an hour. And right now, it just says the system is forecast to become a tropical storm on Monday as it moves northwestward to northward near or along the western Gulf of Mexico coast. Tropical storm watches have been issued for portions of northeastern Mexico, and additional watches may be needed for southern Texas coast tonight. The system is forecast to become a hurricane before it reaches the northwestern Gulf of Mexico by the middle of the week. While it is too soon to pinpoint the exact location and magnitude of impacts, the potential for life-threatening storm surge and damaging winds are increasing for portions of the upper Texas and Louisiana coastlines beginning Tuesday night. Hurricane and storm surge watches will likely be issued for a portion of that area on Monday, and residents should ensure that they have a hurricane plan in place. Potential tropical cyclone 6 is expected to bring heavy rainfall and the risk of flash flooding from the coast of far northeast Mexico into portions of the coastal Texas and Louisiana through Thursday. Also, here's our arrival time of wind. You can see pretty much the most likely time. Let's do this as well. Pretty much it's expected to go all the way. We could see tropical storm force winds all the way into portions of northern Louisiana near like Shreveport and places like that as well. So definitely that will make landfall somewhere in between Texas and Louisiana coastal regions. As you go through to the next two risks here, disturbance 1. Over here, showers and thunderstorms associated with the area of low pressure over the central tropical Atlantic have changed a little in organization since earlier today. Environmental conditions appear conducive for additional development during the next couple of days, and a tropical depression is likely to form during that time while the system meanders over the central tropical Atlantic. By the middle of the week, the system should begin moving more westward at around 10 miles an hour. So a 60% chance of this thing forming in the next 48 hours, but a 70% chance the next 7 days. Also, disturbance 2 over here. A trough of low pressure located several hundred miles southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands is producing a broad area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms. The system is expected to move little during the next couple of days until it potentially interacts with a tropical wave that is forecast to move off the west coast of Africa on Monday. Environmental conditions thereafter are expected to become favorable for gradual development of the system, and a tropical depression could form during the middle or latter part of next week as the system begins to move slowly west-northwestward. So with no chance of this thing forming in the next 48 hours, but a 50% chance over the next 7 days. So that's pretty much that. Let's check out the satellite right now, see what the satellite imagery says. So here's potential tropical cyclone 6 right now. As this thing loads up, you can see right here, this is potential tropical cyclone 6. Mexico over here, and you can kind of see that it is moving northwest, kind of as the thing said. It was moving northwest, and it seems to be doing that. And as we continue, we can also see the track right here. This is the track. We do have tropical storm watches in effect for northeastern Mexico. Probably we'll see some tropical storm watches as well for portions of the southeastern Texas as well. Also, could possibly see some hurricane warnings near the Louisiana and Texas border as well. We'll see some hurricane warnings there, and that could potentially continue going all the way through Louisiana until it finally weakens to a tropical depression going into Arkansas at around like 1 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. And then that's where we don't know where it's going to go. We don't know where the depression will go as it moves kind of over towards Illinois. So this does already have tropical storm force winds with it, obviously with 50 miles an hour. 50 miles an hour, that is tropical storm force winds, and plus it's sustained. So if I was to guess, you can actually kind of check that out. Let me pull this up. You can kind of move it over here as well. You can see right now wind speeds of up to 50 miles an hour with gusts of up to 60 miles an hour right now. 65 miles an hour right now. And here's the global hurricane models right now. This thing has it. Most of the models have it going up towards the Louisiana-Texas border. And then as you push it back to the GFS pretty much the same thing, making landfall just a bit east, actually, of the Louisiana-Texas border. Here's the GEPS right here, again around that border of Louisiana and Texas. Also, intensity guidance right here shows that mainly most models has it becoming at least a category 1 and then dipping back down to tropical storm force status. There's a couple that has it as category 2, but most as category 1. And I said this yesterday that they were underdoing it, and now they are back on the uptrend going into the hurricane status. So we can also look at 92L as well. This is just off the coast of, or not off the coast, but this is over here. The red area right there, you can see on your screen, the red X, not 6 over there in the Gulf of Mexico, but the one in the Atlantic. Here is Invest 92. I believe this is 92. Yeah, 92. It's still kind of developing a little bit, and it is going to continue to develop. And in terms of models, right now, Global Hurricane Models has it going just to the northern Leeward Islands. GFS has it all over the place, has no idea where it's going to go. Intensity guidance has this thing actually trying to get up to major hurricane status, which honestly I would not be surprised if it became a major fish storm, or not a fish storm because it might impact one of the islands here, but in terms of the U.S. And then also the GEPS over here as well has this thing going pretty much all over the place as well. So this is too far out to talk about, but we'll continue to watch for that. Let's talk about the future. As you push this forward, you can start to see as you go to September the 9th-ish. You go through around like September the 10th. The GFS, obviously, it has its crazy moment at the 18Z, and the 18Z has a full-on Category 2, Category 3 hurricane hitting Louisiana. So, I mean, this is the hour where it's usually not really the most reliable, but it has a close to major hurricane probably striking Louisiana on going into like late September the 11th, early the 12th. And then as you continue as well, as we get into like September the 13th, that fizzles out. And then continuing through, we do have something that we're watching off the coast of South Carolina. It's been popping up for a little while as well over here just off the coast of South Carolina. September 16th just has like a little, just kind of like a little, honestly, weak tropical storm just forming off the coast of South Carolina on September the 16th, September the 17th. So we'll watch this because this could bring rain. This could bring some gusty wind conditions as well. So we'll be watching for this September the 16th and September the 17th. We're going to have to see what happens here. But yeah, that goes inland. And then shower and thunderstorm activity continues for South Carolina, going all the way through the 20th to 21st, and then watching for the potential for another just heavy rain event going on through like September the 23rd and the 24th as well. So pretty much a lot of rain is forecasted, and if you go all the way to like the next 300 or so hours, and you go over to the total accumulated precipitation, overall, around 4 to maybe even 9-10 inches is possible throughout the entire state. So around, that's a pretty large margin there, but for over almost 400 hours out, it kind of makes a little sense. But that's pretty much it in terms of the future. Let's talk about this week, because it is time to talk about our weekly forecast for the week of September the 8th all the way through September the 14th. And as you go on, we're going to talk about temperatures first. Temperatures right now will be above average, not much, but most likely above average this week in terms of temperatures. And if you go into precipitation as well, very below average precipitation rates for South Carolina, and we are not going to see as much precipitation this week as we would usually see, or as we have seen weeks like this in the past. So from September the 8th all the way to September the 14th, we're going to see less rain this week through that time period than September the 8th through September the 14th, maybe last year or the year before that. Pretty much is what that means. And temperature-wise is pretty much the same thing, just for this time of year. It is above average in terms of temperatures and above average that we've seen in the past this week. So that's pretty much that in terms of both of those. Let's talk about just the upper, or I should say the 500 millibar height anomaly. You can see as we go through like September the 8th. So here's September the 8th right here. As we go through around like September the 9th, it's going to be, again, seems to be like pretty even weather until we have this area of low pressure, which is obviously going to be Hurricane Francine. That's going to be moving into Louisiana, and it's going to try and reside a little bit, bring some unsettled weather to portions of South Carolina going into like September the 15th-ish. And then we have our quote-unquote major hurricane here that it has over here. Not, again, too far out to talk about that, but we do have a heavy ridge forming up here in Canada, bringing some very nice weather into northern portions of the United States and in Canada as well. And then we also have this next system we're watching for. While they're receiving some nice weather up here on like September the 23rd up here in Canada and New England regions, we'll be receiving some unsettled weather. So that's pretty much all that. Also some more unsettled weather with that potential tropical area that we're watching for on September the 16th and the 17th as well. So that's pretty much all that is. And let's go on. Let's talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say. Mr. Oliver says, as I get this thing off my screen, good evening, gloomy day at our house. I appreciate the cooler weather, though. Let's hope it continues. Definitely on the lower end of weather. The lower end of temperatures, and you can even check it here as well. If we go to shaded, go to the southeast, you can see as you push this entire thing forward, we're starting to see lows in the 60s almost every single night. Now, and even there were some days where we get into the low 80s. Like look on September the 11th on Wednesday. High temperatures will be in the low 80s, and some isolated high 80s in some places, but right here, September the 12th, high temperatures in the low 80s, low temperatures in like, I'd say like the low 70s, high 60s. And then even as you get into the 14th, high temperature only around the mid 70s in some regions. So I really do think that we are done with our kind of like high 80 period, maybe even our low 90 period as well. So, and then also in terms of low temperatures as well, I think that we're going to be in like in the 60s pretty much every single night. So in terms of temperature wise, it's definitely cooling down, and you can definitely see even inside portions up here like Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina, Virginia, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, can all see temperatures in like the 50s, maybe even some in the low 40s as well. So that's pretty much all that right there. Let's read some other stuff. My cousin Trail says, hi, just a lovely day here. It was misting a lot this morning, at least for me, but glad that it was a good day over, or a nice day over at your house today. Let's go on and talk about San Antonio, Raleigh, and then we should be out of here for tonight if we don't have any more questions or concerns. As we go into precipitation, no rain is expected for San Antonio through the next 48 hours, and while the temperatures here load, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button if you have not already. Also, if you have not hit the share button as well, go on and do that. Like I say every single night, it's the easiest thing. All you have to do is make an account, hit the 2 buttons if you have not already. Not everyone has hit the like button yet that I've seen. Or actually, yes, it just updated. Everyone has hit the like button. But if you have not, and it's because somebody left and you just joined, make sure that you hit the like button. It's free. You don't have to, it doesn't charge you anything. And make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, as it helps me out. We're trying to get to 250 subscribers by September 26th, currently at 212. So, low temperatures right now at around 61, high temperatures tomorrow at around 86-ish, low temperatures tomorrow night at around 65, and then high temperatures going into around the 84, 85 mark going into your Tuesday. As you head into Raleigh over here, we do have temperatures over here. Low temperatures tonight going to around like 57, 56-ish. High temperatures tomorrow around 78, 79. And then low temperatures tomorrow going into around 57-ish. High temperatures going to around 83, 84, 85-ish going into your Tuesday for your high temperatures. Talking about rainfall, let's move all the way back. In terms of precipitation, you can see that not really much precipitation is falling for the state of, just for the state of North Carolina in general, but especially for Raleigh. Not seeing much in terms of rainfall, even as you go into the early morning hours on Tuesday. Nothing there. As we move into excessive rainfall, you can start to see here that we do have a threat for some minor flooding, potentially, for portions of San Antonio. I can see this threat right here expanding, especially as we get into like Tuesday and Wednesday. I could definitely see this threat expanding. Maybe you get put into a marginal risk of excessive rainfall, maybe for Wednesday, maybe Tuesday, but honestly, we're just a bit too far out to talk about that in terms of specific for excessive rainfall outlooks and stuff like that, and nothing for Raleigh either. So I think that that's pretty much it in terms of both regions. Here's your last look at your radar right here for the state of South Carolina. Again, hit the subscribe button and like button if you have not already. One person has not hit the like button, so let's go on and hit that. Here's our last live radar, as we are now at 213 subscribers, so thank you to whoever that person was that just hit the subscribe button. Make sure that you share it out. But that's all that I have in terms for tonight. So hopefully everyone has a fantastic rest of your Sunday. We did just get a chat, and it was just from Mr. Anthony, who says good evening, and then have a good night. Have a good night and good evening to you. But that seems about it for me tonight. I will be back tomorrow morning with your Monday forecast update.
Hey, yeah.